Sanko boy policeman a come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy,
You better run.
Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come. Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko,
Police are come.
Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko.
Police are come.
Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police a come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman a come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop police a come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the lover pon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the lover pon the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip, bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bip, bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy lover pon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy lover pon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip, bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bip, bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko squeeze the lover pon the dam and the gala holla murder.
This is Attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Hey, good evening to all of you. It's just a 7 minutes after, just a little bit after 7 minutes, that is, after 9 o'clock. Kind of sounding confusing there, right? We have a slight technical hiccup. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing me, but we'll monitor the comment section to see if you're hearing us loud and clear. Technical hiccups with regards to our streaming platform, and so we got a slight delay, a slight start, and I have noticed that okay, sorry about that. So some folks are loud and clear, and I noticed that there's an Allison Bennett that's saying no. Somebody's saying no sound, black screen. I don't know how accurate that is, but we will continue to monitor the comments so that you guys can let us. Somebody's saying that Facebook Live apparently crashed. So sorry about that. Some are hearing, some are not hearing. Yep, sorry about that. Some say that they're hearing, some aren't hearing, so we're not sure as to what's happening. Grandma Morna is saying that, good evening, everyone. I'm seeing black screen. That's Garfield Collins. He's seeing black screen. Somebody says Facebook is not working well. Somebody says Facebook has crashed. Somebody said let them go on YouTube. So, I mean, we have an interesting program. Joe King is saying nothing. Joking. I'm not joking, right? If that is your name, Joe King, I can just imagine what it was like with you in school. Now, mind you, I'm just joking, right? Joking. All right, we'll give it a couple of maybe a couple of minutes. If you guys can go on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, you'll able you'll able to get us. If you go on YouTube, you'll able to get us. Outside of that, there's nothing else that we can do. Collie Allen is saying not getting you on Facebook. Um, Something is wrong with Facebook. Luckily, we don't have to pay Facebook anything, so we may just hear this. Keith Michael Austin is saying YouTube is fine. Well, it simply means that you guys just have to go to YouTube. Um, just head over to YouTube, and I see we have some very smart people here. If Facebook is not working, just go to YouTube. I will try to do what we can do via that platform. And if you ask, I'm not sure why Facebook is not working. Somebody said there are other programs that had similar problems. I'm not sure. Is it Facebook is just not working for us, or Facebook is not working in general? Which one? I noticed you guys said Duncan had the same problem. Um, I'm not sure what's happening. Our technical guy is not here today. He walked off the job for a couple hours on Friday. Lemon is always walking off the job, but we have a couple of applications in. I noticed Collie Allen has applied. The technical assistance. Don't really trust Collie Allen with our equipment, so he will be stricken off the list. We don't want him to be the operator here, so no thank you. Collie Allen, no thank you, sir. Continue spinning and playing your music over at your end. We don't want you at this end at all, period. Um, Somebody, Mr. John Jones, is saying sabotage. Now, we tend to put the PPP guys them a little, we're too high where they're not supposed to be. I don't think they have that enough brains for that. I don't give them credit for those sort of things at all. We got messages coming in, so let's see what the messages are about. Somebody says Facebook link is buffering. Somebody says it crashed. So we're just going to slow up a little bit until we can figure out what's happening. I know you guys on YouTube are hearing. So good evening to all the YouTubers. So if you read the screen, you guys can go on YouTube. You'll be able to get us there. If you're not hearing us loud, if you're just not hearing us, well, we will more likely have to. We will more likely. We're not going to give up. If you can't hear, obviously you'll see on the screen it says YouTube. YouTube? Okay, YouTube. Head over to YouTube. This is work. Head over to YouTube. Good. Head over to YouTube. YouTube is going to get a large amount of individuals. So folks are hearing now. Just inbox some of your friends and let them know that we are on YouTube until we can fix the problem. Thank you guys so much. Loud and clear on YouTube. This is how we're going to fix it. Loud and clear on YouTube. All right, let's begin. We will continue our program regardless of what the situation is. Just share and let people know that we are broadcasting, or you guys can hear us via YouTube. You guys can hear us via YouTube. All right, loud and clear. We got a Tomasina. Ben. I don't know if this is a niece of Robeson Ben. If that's the case, all of Robeson's family members are on to us. They're watching us. They subscribe to what we do here, and they just don't agree with what he is doing there. Just like all of Mark Phillips' family members, everybody tune into 107.1 FM to find out what's happening. All right, so let's begin with our program this evening. Since you guys are here, it makes absolutely no sense. We abort the program for tomorrow night to get a bigger audience. But, there is a saying, even one person is a big audience. And so we will just continue. We will continue with what we have here this evening. Let's begin with what's on the agenda. What exactly is on the agenda? Other than to remind you guys, Guyana apartheid's leader, it is still big. It is still causing tremendous problems in Guyana. The racial and divisive politics, obviously emanating out of Freedom House and the office of the president. Those individuals who sit there illegally, mind you. Here's another thing that I want to bring to your attention, kind of hypocritical. You get guys, there is this group that is called Article 13. They believe that politics is just they sit from the comfort of their homes and they issue a little press release here, and they get their friends in Stabrook News and they get their friends in the Kaieteur News, and they just issue these press releases. And they get their friends at newssource.gy. And they sit, a bunch of hypocrites, they sit and they issue press releases. These were the same people who were in, for the most part, at the Guyana Elections Commission's headquarters. And they assisted in ensuring that this illegal, this corrupt, this installed regime was in place. You know who the Mickey Mouse are. You know their antics. But every other day, they get some sort of nonsensical statement. And today is just one of those days with them and their statement. Article 13, that's the name of this so-called civil society group. And oftentimes you find these so-called civil, but in reality it's uncivil society groups pop their heads up. And this Article 13 is just one of them. They say now, Article 13 calls for non-partisan chairman and commissioners at GCOM. Suddenly they want a non-partisan. This is not the first time the call for that is not new. And so I want to make it clear that Article 13, this so-called civil society group, is jumping on the bandwagon of everything, everybody. Every time somebody says something, they're jumping on the bandwagon. But look at those who, the couple of persons that make up this so-called group, Article 13. A bunch of hypocrites. Now, I'm not going to paint all of the few members that they have there as maybe just 3 or 4 members. I'm not going to paint all of them as hypocrites, but maybe all of them are bitter, one reason or the other. And so they believe that this sort of hypocritical statements will get the attention of members of the public and convey this impression that Article 13 is some sort of legitimate civil society group. And these so-called members of civil society group, through this Article 13, whenever there are some folks who pop into the country, they want to sit and have discussions. And let me make this clear. Article 13 speaks for no one but those couple members belonging to Article 13. Simple as that. Article 13 is not a legitimate civil society group. And now what constitutes a civil society group? Not just 2 or 3 members, they pop up, they get vexed, they're bitter over something, and they just want to express their bitterness. They're bitter. These are the same guys who were fighting and saying that they're protecting ballot boxes riddled with illegal votes, riddled with fake votes. Majority, 99% of those fake votes, those fraudulent votes, belong to the People's Progressive Party. And because these so-called members belonging to this small group, it's tiny and very, very tiny indeed. Article 13 just they're basically bitter. They are upset because they didn't get a piece of the pie that they were looking for from this installed PPP regime. So enough of Article 13. What else can we talk about before we get to our guest? We have a guest this evening, mind you. Yep. You know, it's Cancer Awareness Month. And with Cancer Awareness Month, we want to talk a little bit with our guest this evening. But I just don't want to talk about cancer, the actual cancer. She is a survivor. We'll ask some of the things that she did during chemotherapy, and you know, she was right there, death facing her right there. Death faces almost every day we walk through the door. It's facing us. Once we're alive, the only thing that we can be certain of is death. But some people are faced with it. The reality comes in when it's right there. You look at your door and it's right there. Cancer. We will get a little bit of information from her. She's also a former prison officer, the Guyana Prison Service. I'm sure you guys would want me to ask her a couple of questions as to, you know, her years of service there, some of the things that she saw on both sides. And maybe, of course, she'll probably be a little bit reluctant if I ask her if she saw any colleagues of hers shortchanging prisoners' little pawn top and these sort of things. She probably won't answer those sort of questions. But I want to, from a human rights standpoint, how I already see she's in the background. She's laughing about that pawn top situation, which gives me the impression that she is definitely not going to answer that question at all. No pawn top. So I assure my guest, Ms. Sharon Edwards, that she is a cancer survivor. She wants to talk to other cancer patients out there, and in the light and hope of motivating them. Most of us, I'm sure, those of you who are listening, would have had some family member who would have, endured this sort of, horrible sickness. Some of us have lost loved ones. I have lost a sister and many other relatives and friends as a result of cancer. So Miss Sharon Edwards is going to be with us in a few minutes. Again, those of you who are listening to us via YouTube, thank you so much. Go over, share that to other people. Just inbox them, let them know we're on YouTube. It's something just for tonight. But let us go to this here. Diwali was the other day, and this is the Guyana Chronicle, controlled by the installed PPP regime. And right away, I mean, the headline is correct, albeit it's not Diwali. It's not the meaning of Diwali. We know Diwali has a different meaning. But why do I say the headline is correct? It is correct as it pertains to the political operatives, especially those who are part of the installed, corrupt, racist PPP regime. This headline should have been PPP, the party of darkness and ignorance. That is exactly what it is, PPP, not Diwali. But look at this is the state-owned Chronicle, the state-owned newspaper, where hundreds of millions of your taxpayers' dollars, are being spent every month to spew propaganda racist, and the division for the division of Guyana. This is their headline: Diwali, the celebration of darkness over ignorance. Darkness over ignorance. Darkness, of course, Freedom House. Ignorance, of course, all of those individuals who form part of the installed illegal PPP regime. Ignorance. So this is exactly what the PPP represents: darkness, darkness, and ignorance. So what else we can touch on quickly before our guest is on? We can touch on this. Daaaawgs. Daaaawgs lawyers still pursuing Sue court case. Substituted service to be applied for. Now, this is propaganda. This is definitely fake. And let me just for those who can hear me, during the course of the messages, if you sent me a message via Messenger, you wouldn't be able to get a proper response from me. And why? Because I'm live on the air. All right, so this is propaganda. Who is really looking for Sue? I have seen individuals who fraud people. And when I say fraud, I'm not talking about 19 fraud charges and what Irfan Ali is alleged to have done. But ordinary citizens, they committed just a minor allegation of some sort of crime, minor, and the police issues press release for those wanted bulletin for them. If Daaaawgs and others in the PPP want the police to pursue, want to go to court and these sort of things, here is the question: why no wanted bulletin for Sue? If they want to question Sue, why is there no wanted bulletin for Sue? I would be surprised if they issue a wanted bulletin, a police wanted bulletin for Sue. I dare them to issue a wanted bulletin for Sue. Put it out there. If you can't find Sue, put it out there. Let the police handle it. Let the police issue a wanted bulletin. Let them do it. They issue wanted bulletins every single day. Let them do this to Mr. Sue if they got more C than Belanje. Let them issue that wanted bulletin. Do you guys think, and I'll look at the comment section, do you guys think that they would issue such a police would issue a wanted bulletin for Mr. Sue if in fact he's wanted? And for those of you who might be asking, who, Sue? I'll read some of your comments while we prepare for our guest.
Source. Okay, well, maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sue Jerome?
Sue? Oh, Sue. My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is.
All right. The corruption allegations of corruption has not been investigated, but yet the propaganda machine of the PPP wants to convey this impression that they are serious about looking into this matter. They're not serious about it. Daaaawgs is not serious about Sue. We are not concerned about Daaaawgs' lawyers, whoever they are, still pursuing Sue court case. We are not concerned about them. The Guyanese people want to pursue allegations, matters of corruption, allegations of corruption against Daaaawgs. That is what we want to pursue. That is what the people are more concerned about, not Daaaawgs and his stupid and his emotional outburst that he is looking for Sue, his lawyers, and substitute service to be applied. Nobody's concerned about that. Right, Daaaawgs? So stop with the nonsense. Speaking of Daaaawgs, here's what he's saying. He doesn't give a damn if APNU contest local government elections or not. You see the arrogance with these people? The arrogance, it is growing more and more. And many of you know the type of arrogance this individual, I wouldn't want to say man, maybe for obvious reasons, but this individual says, I don't give a damn if APNE contest elections or not. Well, this is the impasse and the disrespect leveled against the coalition. And these coalition guys got to stop barking like Chihuahua. They got to get some big, tough pit bull barks and bites. They got to really go after these illegal individuals in office because they're becoming more and more pompous. They have no reason to be pompous because just the other day, a lot of them were just wearing two left side slippers, all manner of things. Suddenly, they're filthy rich with a bunch of arrogance in them. Let's look at this guy here now. Countrywide consultations could examine mechanisms used to appoint chancellor and chief. Why do you need countrywide consultations? For what? A waste of money? This will cost over 100 million Guyana dollars. Everything is a waste of money. These political idiots get up in the morning, and however they feel, if they get up feeling a little nice, well, depends on the night. But if they get up feeling a little nice, maybe after a sojourn around the cathedral, and they get up feeling nice, then they come up with different policies and all manner of things. That's how they run the country. They have no ideas. They don't know what to do. They just can't run a country because many of them can't even run a cake shop. You give them a Polari stall, they can't run it. You give them a fudge shop, they can't run it. You buy two goats and give them to, but then again, they have a lot of those goats in parliament, right? But isn't it the same PPP regime that said that they want to appoint the chancellor of the judiciary and when I say appoint, meaning to make them the substantive chancellor and the chief justice. The opposition leader, Aubrey Norton, says yes, he's in favor of that. Irfan Ali, they said they're in favor of that. But now look at the hypocrisy, look at the lies, look at the propaganda. The truth is they want to put their own people. And when I say their own people, you got to see my facial expression on that. They really do want to put their own people that they can be far more comfortable with. And so this thing is a facade, as though they believe in democracy and they just want countrywide consultations on the matter. Lies, 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 lies. And now let's prepare to go to our guest. But before we go, there's a dog that is barking. Oops, I'm looking to see. I don't want the dogs to bite my legs because the hot topic is dogs barking and where you can push a dog in order to have the dog stop barking. This is coming from an individual, this nastiness and disgraceful conduct coming from an individual who is supposed to be a high commissioner, Guyana's high commissioner to India. Low level individual. You just pluck them out and you push them to India so that they can make 30, 40,000 US dollars per month. Your money, your tax paying dollars. And now, since we're having technical problems on the ground and this is not broadcast via the radio, we will take that risk and play the video. But we ask that if you know you can't hear the bomb, the F-bomb words and these sort of things, our apologies. You could cover up your ears with cotton wool. But here goes Charan Das. I don't want to say alleged Charan Das, so it is Charan Das. Take a look at his belly, his mouth, and the language. Filthy, just like the individual. Here is Charan Das. Yes, that infamous Charan Das that pulled off that stunt, that infamous AFC individual, what Judas. It's Charan Das. Let's go.
Are you any better?
No.
You're throwing out a helpless dog?
What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs.
You little bastard.
No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
I don't care who the hell you are.
Fuck you.
Yeah, dekha.
Now listen to me.
You're drunk. You're
Don't
drunk.
let any woman come in my yard.
You're bloody drunk.
Hello. You like the camera?
You don't understand English. Speak in Hindi. Chalo, tum chalo.
All right, first of all, he did that knowing he knew exactly what he did. That's a Muslim woman. Let's get straight to the chase. That's a Muslim woman that he is treating like that. A Muslim woman. You saw her attire. Not a Hindu woman, a Muslim woman. He felt comfortable insulting that woman because of her appearance, how she dressed. He knew that she is Muslim. And look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He did that because she's a Muslim woman. And he felt comfortable doing that, treating her in that manner. Let's go back to that tape again. We will go back to it. It is Charan Das, not alleged and not so what. It is Charan Das.
Are you any better?
No.
You're throwing out a helpless dog?
What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs.
You little bastard.
No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
I don't care who the hell you are.
Fuck you.
Yeah, dekha.
Now listen to me.
You're drunk. You're
Don't
bloody-
let any woman come in my yard.
You're bloody drunk.
Hello. You like the camera?
You don't understand English. Speak in Hindi. Chalo, tum chalo.
You see the darkness that is clouded Guyana? You see the ignorance? You see the darkness and the ignorance? He doesn't want any woman in his yard. Obviously, we know why, but that's his private life. We saw the amount of men in his apartment, but he doesn't want any woman to be in his yard. And again, we understand why, but we're not getting into his private life, the fact that he prefers men in his yard and in his house. That's his private life. He can do whatever he wants to do with his dogs and his legs. But to talk to a woman like that and to tell her that she should get out and F out and all these manner of things and what to do, two things, woman, and she's a Muslim woman, and he felt comfortable doing that, insulting her. And then the installed regime of Guyana feels that it is okay because the matter has been dealt with and it's done with. I hope the opposition parties are not just going to issue a press release and, we call for their removal. No, press release do not do those things. They got to do more than this dotish press release. Just issue a press release. It doesn't do much. But we will get back to that matter, that shameful, shameful matter coming from a disgraceful individual who should not have been there. He should not have been there with taxpayers' monies. Look at him, disgraceful individual. Charan Disgraceful Das. And now we have our guest this evening, Sharon Edwards. Where's our operator? There we go, Miss Edwards, Sharon Edwards. Sorry to keep you waiting. You're welcome in my yard anytime. I wouldn't put a dog on you or anything.
Good night, Mr. Mart. Bench talk and the viewers.
Yeah, so happy to have you in my yard.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Let me ask you this:
opportunity.
It's a pleasure to have you on with us, and
Yes.
it's really good seeing you after all those years.
Yeah.
I assume you saw that video with the guy who is supposedly the Guyana High Commissioner to India chasing and his treatment of that woman. As a woman, how does that make you feel?
Well, I feel so bad. So, it's not good enough, for a person like that to telling a woman all those nasty words, it doesn't sound good. You feel so, imagine he's supposed to be representing Guyana and he's behaving like that.
It is so sad and doesn't give, and knowing that the camera was hit on him and all of these things. It's
so
shameful.
sad. It's a sad day in Guyana.
Yeah. I've known you over the years, and I've gotten to know you up close and personal, especially during the 5+ years at the Camp Street prison. Being on the other side, you were one of them wearing the uniform. We will touch on that. But let me say, I just want to let our listeners know that you are a cancer survivor. We want to find out what you did during the course when you were battling. You wanted to survive, and you survived.
Yeah.
Some people went through the same dilemma, and they
No.
were not fortunate to make it. My sister being one of them. We will get to that.
It's not.
Before we do, I was made to understand you're from New Amsterdam.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background, Sharon Edwards.
Okay. I came from a family of 5. My father was owner of a cycle shop in Amsterdam, and we grew up in Stanleytown, a very nice area. We had a good, good family life with my, parents, and we enjoy it, and life was good for us. And we live together as one, as a family. We are together, we're knitted, we have love for each other, and I'm so happy for the teaching and the discipline that my parents instilled in us, that I could have gone through, do work as a prison officer with the same amount of discipline.
Absolutely. So what made you decide that as a young woman growing up in Guyana, you didn't want to become a teacher, I'm not sure, a lawyer, a doctor. You just decided that maybe you didn't want to be part of your father's tire shop.
No,
just
like a shop. But I guess, to be honest, I didn't plan staying in the prison work so long. I just did it because I wanted a job. And Mr. Erskine then, he was the cadet officer, and he encouraged me to join. And I joined, but it wasn't my intention to stay so long in the prison work. But as I got there and I was placed at the reception like 2 years after I joined the work, I got to like the job. And I said, okay, I'll stay here and make it my career.
How long have you spent there? 20-something years, I think?
27 to 28 years.
Wow. You certainly don't look that old, 27 plus years.
Yeah, 28 years, yes.
Wow.
And most of the, actually 20 years and more, I work at reception.
Good. I want to, I have some questions about reception job. I have had some issues with some conducts at reception area. I will get back to that though, to get your honest opinion about that, since you've spent majority of your years there doing a reception at the reception section. Let's touch on this. You are a cancer survivor.
Yes.
Let's touch on the first time that you found out that you have cancer.
Okay. It was actually in 2014, September. Just after I finished eating, I felt the sharp pain in my stomach, and it lasted for some time, and after like 2-3 months, I decided to go to the doctor. And the doctor did an ultrasound, and they said it was gallstone. I was eventually admitted in the hospital. Woodlands Hospital did the surgery for gallstone, but unfortunately after that, the pain continued. And I started reducing, I started losing weight, appetite, and everything. And then my vacation was in October, and I said, look, I'm coming to New York. But then how I was feeling, I said, no, I'm not going anymore, I'm going to stay. And I guess you would have known Ozzy Harper. She used to be at the Criterion. You remember her?
Yeah, I know Ozzy, yeah.
Yes, good. So the two of us were planning to come to New York. But anyhow,
by the way, how is she doing?
She's doing fine. She's in New York here.
Give her my regards. Tell her that I have a cash app now. I don't have a talk shop. Nothing.
Okay. All right, I told her that. Yes.
Right.
And I say, okay, I'm not going to New York, and because I'm not feeling too well. And then she said, Sharon, you have to go. I said, man, look, I went in hospital, spent time not going. She said, well, I buy you a ticket. And she bought a ticket, and we came to New York. She was determined to take me with her. It was a blessing in disguise. Probably God used her, to save my life, because when we came, 3 days after, I took ill, and I was rushed to Kings County. And when I got there, and the different examination and different CAT scan, ultrasound, they found it was scanned. They found it was cancer, and I had 14 days to live. That's how bad it was. It already was bad that they said, look, Miss Edwards, if you go back to Guyana, now you won't live 14 days after. I said, but I have to go back because I'm still working. So From the surgery, the operation room in the afternoon, about 8 o'clock, I leave the hospital straight to the airport. I was back in Guyana. But I had to return back to New York within 14 days because they placed a stent in my rectum that's to prevent the cancer from blocking me off, because they said within 14 days my feces was about to reverse through my stomach, through my mouth. So they had to do that. And I had to be back here in 14 days. When I came back, and the doctor called me and said, look, well, it is confirmed cancer death, a dangerous stage. I tell the doctor, said, doctor, that is not a death sentence. I will not die. He said, no, but this thing is very dangerous. I said, okay. And they told me what to do. When they did the first surgery in February, they cut me. The cancer was more than what they thought. It was within the bladder and the kidneys. So they could not do anything, had to just stitch me up back right away. And when they tell me this, Mr. Edwards, is bad news because we couldn't touch his cancer. It is so terrible. We have to go back as a team of doctors and study how we will tackle this cancer now, because I've never seen something like that. So I said to the doctor, I said, look, God will change that. God is going to change that. When you guys go back, there's going to be a different situation. So they ordered that I should do 4 to 5 days nonstop chemo with radiation every single day. And that was, the doctor said to me that, Mr. Edwards, we have to do this, but it is 50-50 chance you will live. You may not survive this chemo because it's too much of poison going into your system. You got the radiation every day, plus the chemo for 24 hours for 35 days. So that alone was, and I could tell you, Mark, it wasn't easy. But I tell you, doctor, I'd rather take the chance and live than don't take it at all. Yeah, I'm going to do this chemo. But it wasn't an easy road. I could tell you that. I couldn't walk. I had to use a walker. I couldn't do nothing for myself. They could have come the ribs in my body. People had to do everything for me, clean my skin, feed me, everything. I had to use Pampers, everything. It was, I tell you, but I was determined. So look, one night, I could tell you that the pain was so terrible that I said, God, where you there? You say you want to promise to save me. And now I'm in this pain and you're not there for me. And then I heard a voice said, Sharon, you'll be okay. And I held on to that. I said, okay, I'll be okay. And I had to be in hospital every minute, 911, in hospital, out hospital. And you know what? My feces started coming through my vagina. That's how bad it had gone. I couldn't pass feces through. And that was so painful for me. I had to be in hospital with tubes in my nose, tubes in my side. They cut the side, they put the tube taking the urine out. Oh, Mark, I tell you, I could tell you that I survived that. And I think nobody should die by cancer, because if I survived, then the doctor said, I've never seen a case like that yet. And they say I survived. They said people should live cancer. But you know what? What happened to most of us? From the time the doctor tell you you're a cancer, you lose it. You think that is death sentence. You give up. You don't say, see, death. You can't survive this. And you start being withdrawn. You don't want to talk to nobody. You don't want to go nowhere. You don't want nobody to know whether you're a cancer patient. And that's it. You give up on everything. But you don't do that. You got, doctor tell you that. No, you got to say, no, this is not the end. God could do something for me. God is possible. God could do the impossible. What was impossible for the doctors? He could do it. So you just got to be strong and start, look, hey, I got to live my life. I don't care what they say. I'm going to fight this thing to the end. And you got to be positive in your mind and everything. Regardless of what, you got to be positive if you want to live. You got to do that. Unless, if you don't do that, there's no way that you're going to survive. Because we start listening to negative people. People start telling you, the grandmother to take chemo and they die, this body die and the body die and all of that. And that is what make it worse, because you start listening to people on the story and you start getting depressed. It becomes, and then cancer like stress. The more you stress, is plus that will kill you faster. That will kill you faster. The doctor tell you that don't stress. And this is what most people do. From the time they hear they get this cancer, the stress. They start take on. They're studying this. They know they can't live no more. They give up easily. And within sometimes 2 months, within weeks, people die. No, but if you be strong, from the first time the doctor tell you that, they say, look, I got to live. You will live. You will survive. If you put God in everything, he will see you through. Because I know about it. I know when the pain come, the pain wasn't easy. I know about the terrible pains. But when the pain came, I said, Father God, you got to be here for me. You say you're going to heal me. You got to heal me. And he did. And I'm saying if I survive that stage from cancer, I think anybody could do it. Anybody, because the doctor said they didn't see nobody went that far how I went. I was in ICU. I had to be in ICU and life support. And still, I said, no, I'm not going down. The doctor said, Miss Edwards, you're a champion. You're a peach because we haven't seen a patient with this kind of faith and this strength that you have. And you showed. And I hold on to that. And I was able to, regards to what, after that, I was able to come through successful. And I would tell anybody, don't give up. It's not the end. If you're cancer, it's not the end. You could fight it. You could ask God. And nothing like prayers. When you pray and be honest and faithful, God will see you to help you. But most of us is not as strong.
Absolutely. One of the things that you did say, and I know we all have experienced that. I said that I have a sister. Well, she's no longer with us as a result of cancer. That's her.
Oh, wow, she's so pretty.
And I remember her pain. She started chemotherapy.
Yeah.
First day that she actually had that, I'm in Guyana, and she came with her daughter, and I just had to help her up the stairs and put her in a couch upstairs or in one of the extra bedrooms so that she can get some rest. And she slept for hours upon hours. And in her final days, I recall being at her house, and she just, couldn't walk down the stairs at all.
Yeah.
She turned to me and she says, Mark, in this tone, this quiet tone, and you could tell the pain. She says, I really can't make it. That's it.
Oh my God.
A few days after she passed away. And
wow.
So yes, I'm saying this because it came directly in every family they have this sort of experience.
Yes.
But let me ask you this as it regards to you being misdiagnosed, so to speak, in Guyana. You went to the doctor there. They said that you obviously cancer.
Yeah.
You have gallstone. They just go in, they removed it, and they believe that was it. Just go home and you're done with it. What is your thought when you reflect on the doctor who was supposed to detect that and they didn't?
Yeah, because when I went back and tell the doctor, look, doctor, I'm getting this pain. He said, why are you getting pain? He was more arrogant with me. He was annoyed because of the time of this pain. I said, look, I'm getting this pain. I'm not. This what happened. He said,
wait a minute. Sorry, Sharon. You went to the doctor because all these things, and I cut you there because I want you to tell your story.
Yeah.
You went to the doctor after feeling pain. And sometimes the pain, can come in any form. Some women would get the lumps in their breast and whatever. And you went to this feeling this pain. The doctor said it's gallstone. They operated on you. You went back saying that you have more pain, and the doctor is more arrogant, the more upset than you in pain. Continue, please. Continue with
it. Then the thing about it is that you didn't have to do it free. You spend nearly $250,000 to do this surgery, nearly $500,000 to do the surgery and everything. And when you go back expecting, they're to give you some answers. They're telling you, okay, this and that. But okay, I said, fine. I went home and the pain continued. The pain got worse. I had to be traveling to Tamari every day, and then when the pain got so worse, I had to take transfer back to Georgia because the pain was too much to bear, and I said, look, well, you went to the doctor, they tell you it's gallstone and remove it, and he is not telling you nothing else. What more is it? What more,
Did you when the doctor said that it was gallstone, you paid your money to remove it, and the pain is still there? How did you feel when the doctor spoke with you in that arrogant manner and your pain is still there? You knew that it was
me, Mr. Benchcup, me, I was never somebody like, I watch it him and I say, look, imagine I pay all my money and this is what this doctor telling me. And I leave, he give me some pain tablet and said, you could go. And I went, I had to go. And there was nothing else because I said, what more? What more? I pay so much money. What more? And
but you weren't just concerned about the money that you paid. You were more concerned.
Exactly.
You paid the money to get this pain to be relieved of this pain, but it still continued. Nothing has helped you, and you felt that that money just went down the drain.
Exactly, because guess what? My sister Claudette, Collie's wife, she started, they would come to Georgia and as soon they come to the prison. They say, Sharon, let's go have lunch because they know how I was. And then I would go, they order the food I can't eat. The pain would start. And they now were concerned because this is what happened. You did the surgery. How come you still get the best of the doctor's not giving me no answer, not telling me nothing else? And
You know, Sharon, and
yeah,
you can call me Mark.
yeah.
I'm out of Camp Street prison now.
I still have the respect.
Of course. Thank you so much. I noticed that there's a Samantha Thomas saying, my motivator, my other mother, you are a strong woman. Love you always. Lots of positive, lots of comments coming from individuals. That is because people can relate to your story. I just mentioned the fact that I have other family members who succumb as a result of, and relatives and friends. And one closest to us is my sibling that passed away, and as a result of cancer, as a result of going to the doctor, and the doctor just said, "Oh, it was just something else. The lump was something else." And it is painful that a lot of family members should not have gone through this if they were properly diagnosed. And that's the problem we have in Guyana.
Yes, it is so true. It is so true. Because guess what? One time when I was here, I had to go back and I hadn't carried my medical documents at work, right? So I would go back and then come back. So while I went back to Guyana in July, I took taking this pain, and I had to go. I said, look, I'm not going to Woodlands again because I spent a lot of money there. So I said, I'm just going to Judicial Hospital as to get some pain, some medication or something for this pain. So I went to Judicial Hospital. They did the test. And when they saw how the cancer was, the doctor told me no, that they can't trouble it. They said it's far gone. That is too far gone. They cannot handle it. They admitted me for about 3 days. And they said, we have to discharge you because we cannot do anything. There's nothing we could do for you. We just got to send you home back. I said, okay, doctor. And I was discharged. So you could understand. I went to Georgia Hospital too, and they're telling you there's nothing they could have done because it was far gone. They said it was too dangerous to them to try. They couldn't trouble it because they said they don't know what to do. But all they could do is just give me a few tablets and discharge me, and I had to go home. So we know, that is it. Sometimes they don't give you no kind of, most people lost hope because of that, because the doctor telling you there's nothing more to be done.
Absolutely.
That alone will break a lot of people. I know a friend, a guy, the same girl, Samantha Thomas, is my son, Sharon mother. Her, he was getting this pain, and he went to the hospital, and the doctor told him that the found his cancer he got. Within 2 weeks, he died. He died within 2 weeks because he said, look, you don't think he could go through that. He can't go through that. He died within 2 weeks.
And that's because you are correct, Miss Edwards, that people see it as a death sentence.
Yes.
They right away put up their hands and they surrender.
They put up their hand. They had my sister got to work. I was working with her at the restaurant in New Amsterdam. And she said her uncle died like that. He went to the hospital doctor. The doctor tell you that you have cancer. He go home and he tell his wife. He said, I finished with life.
But you know what also? Society contributes towards that.
Yes. That is so true.
Because I know you too, during my time there at Camp Street, you always bouncy and, that your little size, as we say in Guyana and so forth. And soon as the cancer starts to eat up away on the body and so forth, obviously you lose weight and different. And when people in your village are cancer victims, when the people start seeing them in their village, in their communities, they start suing.
Yeah, because guess what? Guess what, Mr. Ben? Guess what?
Go ahead.
I went through that where everybody, some people, I'm one of the staff at Tamari prison watch it me say, Mr. Edwards, like the big truck hit you. You mean for say AIDS. I said, well, whatever you think, that's it. I don't have a problem with you guys think, but I never let those negative thoughts get to my head. A lot of people say, number one, the public does diagnose your sickness for you.
Yeah.
They're done as what happened to you. So the minute you take that.
How did you, especially coming from a colleague, and it is a dreadful situation because they don't understand cancer and how it eats away at the body.
Yes.
And the minute people start losing weight in Guyana,
Yes.
and the big truck, how
Yes.
did you feel when even one of your colleagues, knowing what you're going through, and your colleague, this first thing is like the big truck hit you, and the big truck,
But to be
meaning
honest, you know me, I always, no matter what, I always had a smile. I just smiled at him and I went through the gate. I went because I knew I was going through my pain and I didn't know what it was. So I didn't have time, for like, I said all these talks would come out kind of here alone. All people would see all sort of things, well, you got this, but I refused to let it bother me because the minute I started taking the on too, there was an extra thing I put on my body, extra stress.
You know that that's not true, but the perception is she looks skinny, she loses weight, the big truck hits she. They don't take this cancer stuff seriously at all.
No.
You're going through the pain. Other cancer victims are going through the pain, and this sort of stigma around the community.
The first people feel that is you have. I know people die because they refuse to go out because they feel that if you got people can see them and say, well, there's AIDS I got. My hairdresser died. She was diagnosed before me, and she died because she said she didn't want to go out now because she said people see her, they're going to say she got. I said, no, you got to go out. You don't care what people say. Go out, have fun, because no matter what, is you going through that, you got to determine if you're going to live or not.
And you are correct. Society, community, villages, a lot of folks are ignorant as it pertains to cancer and even sickness. And sometimes they just accelerate people's death because when they diagnosing people wrongfully and saying that they got a big truck, people no longer want to go out. They just sit at home and it kills them faster. Society can be so cruel. Even people within our villages, our communities, our work environment can be so cruel to each other. Even if someone has the big truck, it is still not a life sentence, and that individual should never be treated like that.
And I can remember one of my sister's staff. They in the restaurant, they say, oh, I like Auntie Sharon getting. So I said to them, it's not AIDS, I get 9 to 10. I passed 8, it's still to 9, and I laughed. And they were like, Auntie Sharon, nothing bother you. I said, I would not take this to make a bad because I'm able to take this out of stress on me. I don't get the stress I fight in. There's a bigger stress. I refuse to let these little things bother me.
And that is the spirit to have, and that is the purpose of you being on this show. We will have other survivors. I know of a doctor who survived as well. This doctor is a principal of a school. I will have her on to talk about her story as well. And just to let the members of our audience and even they can spread that message in terms of people misdiagnosing people, including doctors and so forth. And the stigma within community that when they see someone start losing weight, there's only one thing that comes to their mind, and big truck and these sort of things.
And guess what? Before I go, I can remember I was at the stage in the hospital. I taken the tube to my nose. The stuff that was coming from my inside was green, different colors, And when my nephew and other people came and see me, they call us, Auntie Sharon's not going to make it anymore. She's far gone. The doctor said she's very low. Don't think she's going to survive. And they call next thing you know that they start planning my funeral. They were already starting to.
How all those things made you feel at any time? Because people, family members planning your funeral. Some colleagues at your job already misdiagnosed you for something else. Community looking at Sharon used to be nice and now Sharon, like, oh, look at Sharon, look at how all these things made you feel when you heard these people and you're fighting a battle internally, you're feeling the pain. How did that make you feel?
I learned so much from those things. I learned a lot. I taught you that when you're going through something, you got to just have to ignore some of these negative things. You got to ignore it, because if I did take if I had take 1 minute and start studying about these when these people say it, I don't know, I want to be in a life, man, because honestly, that when my is after and they tell me that they were planning out when I die now to carry me back to Guyana and bury and all of that. I said, who tell y'all I was dying?
And some of them want your clothes, your earrings.
But because they come and see how I was in the hospital and what the doctor were there, and they knew that Auntie Sharon gone to the last. She can't come back. what they saw. I mean, I have pictures. I'm sorry I didn't get to even see the pictures. People wanted to know how I still make it with when they saw those pictures back. They can't believe it's me that get back and bounce back. And at that stage,
And
all in the
let me
hospital.
say that you have bounced back indeed, your face, everything back indeed, the same Sharon that I remember with your prison prison officer uniform, always neatly dressed, always
Yeah,
polite, always professional. And it's very rare we find a lot of prison officers like that. It's
yeah,
not to say that they don't have quite a
yeah.
few, but it's
You
rare
know,
to find prison officers with this sort of
yeah,
quality.
because I
Yeah.
look at life different. Even though you're a prisoner, I look at you as a human being. I don't know. You wouldn't be in prison all the days. I don't know. I would not be a prison officer all the years of my life. Neither side will have to be out there on the road to face back the same people that I encounter in the prison.
Here it is. You're on a show with one facing one that you encountered right there at the Camp Street prison. Hello, officer.
Yeah, right. You know, God, you
It-
know. So okay, that's a typical example.
It's lockdown time, right? Sorry, Mark. You got to go back in your cell.
You know, but you know, and then I would go certain places like Tiger Bay and Pash sort of here, and then somebody said, "Sharon, you don't scared?" I said, "No." And sometimes I go, you see that some of them would say, "Don't touch us off." You know, there was a very good officer in the prison. Y'all don't touch her at all. And you know, I'm free because I knew that I do my job as a plan and do it without fear or favor. And I didn't take nothing from nobody. I have nothing to fear, though I'm scared of nobody because I didn't nobody. You know, I just do my work how I had to do it, and that was
Absolutely.
it.
I can attest that. And trust me, there are some prison officers who can go in Tiger Bay and walk around like how some others can. And you're
Yeah.
one of them who can go anywhere,
Yes.
even right here on Straight Up and talking about your story. I noticed there's someone who's asking a question. I would, comment. I would imagine that having survived cancer, you're able to see life differently
Yes.
and what's important and what's not. How differently are you viewing life now?
Oh, because now there's so many things. I see more love in people. I treat people much because I know I have another chance to live. And I want to live this life to the best of my ability. I'm more committed to my church. I treat everybody. Everybody says, Sharon, like you don't get vexed over nothing. I said, no, I can't get vexed because what would I vex for? I have another chance to live. I want to live happy with everybody. I make no problem. You know, I see little things don't bother me now. I refuse to let little things that it make life a difference to life bother me. I just want to live life happy and with everybody. You understand? Because I know what it is to suffer. It's only when you know when you're in a health situation how good to have your health and how good people. And then another thing I would say, Mr. Benchcup, is that while I was in hospital, let me tell you this. It was completely different. When I tell you different, I had the best treatment in the hospital. From the doctors and nurses, you think, you know, that one time another patient said to me, Miss Edwards, I grudge you, you know. I said, why you grudge me? She said, because I noticed since I'm here, morning, you see doctors visit you whole, they come in, they holding your hand, they carry you for walk, they're hugging you up, and she's there, she's not getting the kind of treatment. That's all I don't know. I
That's
can't
Guyana or in the U.S.? In the
here.
U.S. Okay.
No, and she was kind of concerned. But indeed, the doctors used to be there, 1, 2, 3. They keep checking on me. They would come and said, "Well, we got to take it for a walk around the Kubuku. We got to do this." And they were so, you know, I can't complain. I had the best treatment.
Absolutely. I noticed there's a question here, and kudos to those doctors and the staff because they got some doctors and staff also give up and they give patients the impression that look, you can't make it. You get 14 days, you get 10 days, and sometimes it doesn't work in favor of the patient. You know.
No.
But there's a question here from someone who's asking, "My dear, are you in remission?"
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you did say that in the beginning of the program.
Yes.
So I hope that person, we're glad that you're out of that. You
Yeah.
are basically strong now. You're here to tell your story on this program, and we hope that it inspires hundreds of people who are watching and those who expect to watch
You know,
later.
listen, this one more thing, you know, that I'd say again that if I didn't die with cancer, I don't think that because one time my body was shut down. I had to be isolated because I was so weak. My body totally shut down. I had to take blood and saline through my neck because my veins, everything shut down. Everything went. And they had to put me in. The doctors want to know what really happened. I had to be in a room by myself. You had to wear gloves. You had to wear masks. You had to wear so many things before you could come and see me in the ward, in the way they had me, because the slightest thing could have just closed me off like that. And that was the worst stage.
We're glad that you're not closed off. We're glad that you're here to
No.
tell
And I'm not going to close off in a hurry. I have a lot.
Absolutely. And you have good. Yeah. You have good friends.
Years to go.
You have good friends. You have good colleagues. You have good family members. And you have a funny brother-in-law, Collie Allen, who probably makes you laugh and
all the time. Sometimes one time he said to me, Sharon, I wish I could take the pain. I said, no. You can't.
He was bluffing. DJ Collie Allen. You guys know him. He was bluffing. You can't
handle this, boy. None of you can handle this. I don't want nobody get this thing because I have the strength to endure it. But even my sister, I have a sister who's a nurse in Maryland here. She said, Sharon, you're more strong than me because I get weak very fast. She said, but you were so strong. You built us. When we were supposed to be supporting, you were supporting it. Because I was telling them, don't worry what the doctor said that this is the difficult and this danger. I will survive. I will live. Y'all don't worry about that.
And you have. And will continue to be around for quite a long time as well. It's always nice to have good people on the show. It's always nice to have good people around us. And we do hope that this message, you are a cancer survivor, is able to reach out to hundreds or maybe thousands of people.
Yes, I am. Just wanted, before we go.
Sure, go ahead.
I just want to say a special thank you to all the persons at church, Reveal Christian Center in Guyana, Kitty, the pastor, Pastor Salome, his wife, Lady Selassie, the intercessor team, the worshipers, the cleaning department, the protocol team. I am so grateful for the prayers they're doing, and, they keep praying and they would, they were there for me and still there, you understand, and everywhere, So I'm so thankful in my sisters, everybody who supported me during that time. I would like to say a special thanks to everybody. And I wish God would bless them 100 times more for what they did for me. Because prayer works, prayer makes a difference. Along with faith, it makes a difference in any situation. Nothing's impossible with God. God could change any situation, but there's the strength that most of us don't have. We give up easily. When the pain comes, and the pain don't be easy, I could tell you, but the pain, it don't be easy. It's terrible. I tell you, you don't get no sleep. You can't sleep at night. I can't sleep because the pain. So anybody could say nobody pain. The can't know I nobody pain, but I never give up. I said, God, you gotta help me. You got ease me with this pain. I was right. Sometimes I gotta be radical with God. You gotta go to him and you feel, well, look, you promised me this, and you got to do this to me. You understand? But I mean, sometimes another thing is very important: family support. Some of us don't have that. We don't have family support. If family give up on you, nobody's there to support you. You needed that. That's the important thing. You needed family support at the time. And sometimes that's where a lot of people give up on because the family not there for them. I know if you know Michelle Lewis. You know Michelle Lewis? She was in medic at the infirmary.
Yeah, I remember Michelle.
How was she? Died.
Yeah, she died a couple of years ago.
God, and when she died, she didn't really 6 months when she texted me, time she had it. But we killed her to family support. She wasn't getting family support.
Yeah. She was a wonderful person at the
medic. She make, and
she always gave me a couple of ibuprofen.
Yes. When she told me certain things, she texted me, tell me, I said, hold on, I'm coming home. I'm going to take you by me, and you will be with me, and I will look at you. And she was looking out for that. But the plane got canceled here, the flight got canceled. So by the time I got there, by the time reaching in the Saturday, she died the next day. And it was so heartbroken.
To her relatives, condolences. I recall she was just another good prison officer.
Yes.
So you have spent a majority of your time, we're going to Camp Street now, spend a couple of minutes with you. You've spent 27 plus years as a prison officer. Majority of that time spent on the receptionist in the receptionist area. Let me just first of all congratulate you and salute you for your years of service to the people of Guyana to ensure that you protect us, those who go into the system, that you protect us. And let me also say that all of the times that I've seen you, You've always been professional to me. You've been professional to the other prisoners. You've been professional to your colleagues at all times. And I say this with all honesty.
Yeah.
And if it was anything different, I probably would not have been saying this tonight.
Yeah.
But you are one of the best prison officers there at the Camp Street, at the Guyana Prison Service. But during your years there, the reception area, I will describe it to people as when a prisoner is coming in for the first time. Describe it, please.
Yes, from the reception prison, actually, you see the brainchild of the prison, because there's where all the transactions take place. From the court straight to reception, they search, the properties left, we calculated their sentence. If they're convicted, we calculate the sentences. We prepare them for the next month. Everything of a prisoner happens at the reception. Is the most important area. Everything takes place there. So you got to be careful. The prison's property, calculating the sentences, because you will determine when a person will go home and they got to go to court and all of that. So we got to know we're treating prisoners, you know?
Absolutely.
And I always used to try, because most time the males, I mean, it's only recently they had females come, but when I joined was me alone between 8 to 9 males. So most of them, they would go into the yard and leave me there, you know? So I had to know how I deal with the inmates, and I had to build a rapport with them.
Yeah, I got you. And you guys had to keep all of the records, ensure that they, you know.
Yes.
One of the things, though, that when you guys see a prisoner get released 1 month ago, and that prisoner name is, let's say, John Allen. That's just a name I'm making up.
Yeah.
Or Irfan Prasad, mind you. They were there with a different name 1 month ago, and they come back with a different name now. How does that make you guys feel? They put a little.
Okay, that's why another thing, as the reception officer, you have to have a photographic memory, because they got certain prisoners. They had a lot of them went in Mark Edwards. I have 3 prisoners named Mark Edwards. We had 3 Troy Ross. So you had to, if I know a prisoner named Mark Edwards or Troy Ross, they got discharged, came back in, and came with John Harry or John whatever. I put both names. John Harry, known as Mark Edwards. So you put the both together. You understand? So you could. Now, let's say prison was here, he came before he came with Mark Edwards. Now we come say put both names, known as so.
Got you. And so one of the things that I found that was very offensive, and the prison system tried it with me, and I objected to that, is that the squatting, you got to squat.
Yes.
And when you squat, there you are a female prison officer in a male prison, and have to sit there or sometimes stand there and watch male prisoners pull their pants down, pull everything down, pull their buckler down, pull everything down, and squat in front of you. How did you feel?
Well, most time, to be honest, when I go and start like that, and I went in the meeting, I brought it up in the meeting, and I said, I don't think we should get some screen or get something to just, bar it off. So when they go, they could have some privacy on their own too. Because most time they would say, but when the time come, I either bend my head, I don't look at them. I do what I have to do. I try to take my attention off of that. I don't want them to feel bad or feel that their privacy is because it's a woman is there. So sometimes they would say, but look, and I would say, okay, problem. Then we start having the screen. They put the screen so they go behind and they would change, because I know how the men used to feel. So
absolutely, and
I went to the meeting and
I'm not squatting.
Yes, I raised the meeting. I raised it at the meeting, and there's when they said, okay, we make a thing like a partition so the prisoners now would go behind, so they would have the privacy.
Absolutely, and that's a good thing, though. That's why I asked that. But
now it's like that. But I don't know.
There are some prisoners, when they do squat, cell phone drop out, drop out, TV drop out. I mean, people might be laughing. They might think it's funny that it's not true, but lots of things drop out when some prisoners squat.
When you tell some people that they don't believe it, they said that can't happen and they don't believe that. They say,
What are some of the strangest things you've seen or heard fell on the ground when a prisoner squat?
Oh, the first thing that will get me amazed is my had then Self-Work came out first. They had the charger. They had like a oval shaped charger, and this guy had it up in him, and he had the string. So when
Wait. He had the phone charge and had a string.
yes,
Go ahead.
right. So that was pulling it out back. So when he squat, and I heard the officers when they pull it out, they said, and me when the same said, because I was a supervisor then, the same said, "Where's just look, take a thing and look." When the guy, I had to say, wait. Let me get, not for sure nobody, but I just had to get. I said, I can't believe this thing went into him because the size of it was so. I said, my God, how you get up here, you boy? And then another time, the inmate is there, and you hear the phone ringing in him.
Wait a minute. People, Miss Edwards, people might think that that is funny, that it is not true. Describe that moment when the prisoner is there and the phone is ringing in him. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're there, because some person in the phone is there and somebody must be calling at the same time. And there's when the officer know right when you have to squat and get it out, pull it out. There's a that was funny.
But there's always this key thing when you squat, you see the string hanging down.
Yes, I always have that just to get it out.
The string is basically to when they pass through the system, they go back in there. They use that string to pull, whether it's a charger, whether it's a small TV, whether it's an iPhone, whatever it is, just pull that out, or other contraband stuff. Just that string is very important, because if the string is not strong enough and that string busts.
Yeah, quite in infirmary.
Yeah. And sometimes when I talk about my 5+ years there in the strong cell section, in your own words, because I know you passed by the strong cell section, I know you've seen me there on numerous occasions, because only senior officers would have been responsible. How would you describe that division? Because I consider it 5+ years there, total lockdown. How would you describe it?
Well, we use that strong cell, but for prison, is a security risk. You put it there, you understand? You lock them in there, but sometimes things will happen differently. Things happen because not everybody is honest. As you're right to say, getting rogue officers.
But the strong cell is basically a shutdown division. You got to go through two different areas.
But still,
you're totally
sealed off. Search and still find stuff.
Yeah, it's totally sealed off. Yeah. All right. I promised that I wouldn't ask you back that question about the strong cell division.
The best time I had though, when I was at Tamir prison before I came off, and I had Dylan Henry.
Probably named us.
Yeah, the nasty man used to call he went in the kite thing and stuff. So he was there, and oh my God, he was, I tell you, very troublesome. He used to give officers a hard time. And the male officers sometimes used to scare to go into this. When he started misbehaving, they used to scare to go into the security block. But I was a supervisor there, so they would call me, say, Edwards, come, you got to go into the security block because they're not misbehaving. So I had to go. Well, the beauty in me, what I used to do, for a time, I always find you would say, okay, my mother come and I'm going to stop misbehave. And I would get him and I go in there and I would talk to him. I said, darling, what happened to you? Why are you misbehaving? Why you don't want to do? And he would listen. And I would get him to do whatever he didn't want to do. I would say, okay, do this. Come out. We got sergeant cell. He would come out quite easily and get his cell, and then he would go back in. And he would always say, Mr. Edwards, anybody could talk to me and control me. Nobody else. And I used to get him under control.
Got you. And a lot of good prison officers can get any prisoner under control.
Yes, no matter how violent they are, you can't go with them. You got to know how to approach them. And I mean, sometimes if I realize that he's very violent and you could see in his eyes would get red, and you see start licking on, you get anything. You know what I do? I would ask the OC for permission and say, okay, I just want 2 cigarettes. as a policy for 2 cigarettes. Wherever it is, go get 2 cigarettes. Kind of we give the all the inmates who work in the secret police permission, give them a 2 cigarette or so. So I would get that 2 cigarette in my hand. And when he see me with the cigarette, whatever he did when he done, all he concentrated is to get one of the cigarettes I got in my hand. You know, so I would go on and you would see this. My mother, I want. I said, no, you can't get this because you're misbehaving. I want you to do that. And then he would say, okay, all right. And he would calm down and the person would for the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
And that is the tactic he had to use. You can't sometimes have to be.
And they call this cigarette a wagi, right?
Yes.
A wagi.
Yes.
Mama had feeding my man, I want a wagi.
Yes. And the females do that too. The females got their time too in the prison. When you see the females start basically the same thing, they would got time there on the same. Yeah, they study the children.
Describe the female prisoners as well. But before you describe the female prisoners, before we go, I noticed Patricia Botchway say, what internal call? Of course, at that time, I'm sure the ring phone was busy signal. Who's calling me from that unknown number, right? Way up in the gully. Describe the female prison for our listeners before we go.
Yeah, the female prison, sometimes I say sometimes it's be more hard because many times they would stand up with you and want to fight you as a prison officer. You'll hardly find any male doing that to the prison officer with a female, but the female would stand up to you and want to fight. They would, if you talk to them, they would retaliate. So you had to know to deal with them too. They would retaliate.
So the female prisoners would retaliate faster than male.
Yes, and the male, yes. They would coerce you everything, and they know your story. They coerce and tell you all the bad things too. It's not easy, the female too.
But that's out of maybe stress that you're.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Right, that's why I used to deal with them because the female to me now get a little more stress because they may studying the children, they're studying the husband. They're studying the home. So many things they will be studying, So that alone make them more.
These things just strip them out like that.
Yes. The male don't have nothing to study.
Right, come on.
But the female.
Come on. We do who believe in our kids and so forth. We also study. And you know my little boy.
Yes, but I know you. Yeah, I know that you're in every 3 months.
And that was painful that I don't know if it's still allowed. Every 3 months family visits are allowed, And then the phone calls is just once per week. And I don't know if those things have changed. And those things can be painful whether you're female. Yeah, whether you're female or, But I'm sure that of all of the things that you've said, apart from the good things about being a cancer survivor and what you have endured and the fact that you've faced death's door, people seem to be fixated on just the string, pulling up the string and the calling on who's calling on that unknown number, all up there, some strange stories. And maybe one day if you have some time, sit with your brother-in-law, Coley, and your sister, Claudette. Who knows? People need to read about these things because oftentimes when those of us who went through the system, we saw these sort of things, people sometimes don't believe. You mentioned that a phone ringing up there's a little string and then phone chargers, then phones, and then a big plastic bag.
John, public have that, the officers scanning all these things. They blame it. I mean, yes, we may have 1 or 2 officers, but they always feel it's the officers scanning everything. They didn't believe that.
All right. Thank you. So they should believe because indeed 1 and 2 officers were caught too. But
yes, that's what I'm saying,
But I'm thankful that you have spent some time here with us.
Yeah.
Albeit even though Facebook and so forth giving us a rough time.
Yes.
I appreciate the fact that you're here. Continue to be the person that you are, the good human being that you are.
Yeah.
And we wish you long life, health, and happiness. Please do give my regards to your sister Claudette and her husband, DJ Shrimpy.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people are basically, commending you for a great job and being the survivor that you are. Your closing remarks to them, please.
Oh, okay. I would like to say thank you for all the response. And if you know anybody fighting cancer, just cheer up with them. Don't let them down. Just support them. And they could do it. Anybody know who fighting cancer, they could do it. Once you have the support, let them don't stress, love them the same way you do, and they could make it. Because I know it's when somebody died, then we know the hurt. Then we say we should do this and we should do that. You could do it now. If anybody's going through that, they could make it. They could make it because they can. It's just how you think. The first thing you have in your head is a negative thought that's come. And when the negative thoughts come, this will just weaken you faster. You gotta be positive.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All the time that cancer is not a death sentence to me.
Absolutely.
It'll never be.
Thank you so much for your time, and God's richest blessings upon your life continuously.
Thank you, Mr. Benchcroft, and thank you for the privilege of allowing me this opportunity.
You're welcome.
That you could talk with people and let them know. And most of all, God is good, and He could help you and see with you. Is He
all the time? I remember there at Camp Street Prison, one of my favorite hymns was because I used to deliberately sing it to send that message to those in the regime. I am under the rock.
Oh,
yes, and I like the part, go tell my enemies. I am under the rock.
Yes, you see, and that's what I'm saying. Anything you do, I mean, you gotta get God in it. You
Absolutely.
have to inculcate God, get people to support you, to pray with you, and give you that strength. God got to be the center of it. And I could tell you, I'm so happy because God did it for me. I know He answered me and He did it for me. And I know He could do it for anybody else. You just got to have the strength and the faith. And He's doing so many good things now. So many things God is doing for me, and I can't give up. Absolutely. And I'm right now, I'm a full Christian. I just think about, I do everything. I'm just there, and I'm thankful for the church I'm going to, that the teaching I'm having, it makes me more loving to people.
Absolutely.
And understand, yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you so much.
And thank you for all that you've done in the prison service, and thank you for your professionalism. God bless you.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Mr. Benchcroft. Sure.
All right, Sharon Edwards there for us, telling us about her story, telling us about her time as a prison officer at the Camp Street's prison. And I recall my 5+ years there on the other side, being a political prisoner. One of the things that you don't ever say as a prisoner is to tell another prisoner, if the prisoner has contacts with maybe someone on the outside, don't ever tell a prisoner, man, see if you go pull some string for me now. Pulling that string has a different meaning in prison. But thank you to Sharon Edwards for her story. I hope it has inspired a lot of you guys. Cancer is not a death sentence. Don't treat it as such. And people, even within communities and villages, should be far more supportive. And doctors and the fact that they misdiagnosed individuals, lots of those cases are happening in Guyana. Lots of cases. I'm glad that Ms. Sharon Edwards was able to speak. She's alive still and will be with us for a long time to come to tell her story. My name is Mark Benchop. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. And those of you, if you want to advertise, if you know people who want to advertise with us, pull some strings. Oops, there we go again. Pull some strings for us. But we'll leave you just to remind you about this guy who sits there in India as Guyana's High Commissioner and his behavior disgraceful. And I do hope the opposition would do more than just issue a press release. Just issue a press release and feel everything is hunky-dory. Here is Charandas Prasad before we go.
Are you any better?
No.
You're throwing out a helpless dog?
What helpless dog? I don't need a dog in my yard, all right? Okay. You want a dog, take it, put it between your legs.
You little bastard.
No, you probably want the dog to fuck you. That's what you want. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
I don't care who the hell you are.
Fuck you.
Yeah, dekha.
Now listen to me.
You're drunk.
Don't let any woman come in my yard.
You're bloody drunk.
Hello. You like the camera?
You don't understand English. Speak in English. Chalo, tum chalo.
All right, the man said, don't let any woman go into his yard. No woman must go into his yard. Just a bunch of men go into his yard, and just a bunch of men go into his yard, and they can just I'm just trying to have you guys read my mind. He wants no woman. None should go into his yard. Just a bunch of men. We saw some men in his house, right? And just maybe these low lives individuals in the PPP at Freedom House, at office of the president, and these just a bunch of low lives. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. God bless you all.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
I'm in the mood, I'm feeling rude, I'm feeling hot, I want to run. The feeling exciting, so darling, let's do something. I wanna rub my body on your body. Body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. Your body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hook up tight. No time to waste. I wanna body, on your body.